I had a property, but I was poorer. I thought property makes you richer. I was about 21. I bought an apartment and I was stuck in this mortgage and I didn't do any research on anything. I was just a bull in a china shop, and that was really what frustrated me, because I thought, oh, is my money just stay? That was the catalyst into my learning journey of what not to do. Start realising, understanding, how can I get rich doing this? Because
See, one of the biggest things that people don't do is think. So what a lot of people don't understand is that I'm learning from watching you. So if you're on fire, come to me and I'll give you more fire. So one of the key things to remember, this is for everyone, is that what entertains you also trains you, and what you tune into, you turn into. Welcome back to my channel where we discuss property, business, lifestyle and well-being. If this is the first time you are visiting my channel, then please hit the like and subscribe button. So we have a really special guest with us today. He's a multi-millionaire, he's a multiple business owner. He's also got a property mentoring company. I'm really delighted to have him on the show. So Sam, welcome. How would you introduce yourself?
I basically was a professional boxer, now former professional boxer. In lockdown, I had a bit of a change of heart. Talking of my heart, I actually had a heart condition, what not many people know about. It was only mild, minor, but due to stress, I went through 2 years of testings on all sorts of stuff, putting down to this water retention. Where does it stem from? And obviously, when you hold water, everyone thinks it's from the kidneys, and then the kidneys were fine, so they went up to the heart. And I've got a LVH, it's called left ventricular hypertrophy. So one part of my heart is just slightly big from stress, from overworking. I really started thinking then about life, what I want to do. It's not just about money, it's about what I want to do long term, not just short term. And boxing came into lockdown. I felt like lockdown was one of the best things to happen to me, because it made me realise that I'm not just a fighter. I've always been a businessman. I've always had businesses, from barbershops, food prep companies, you know, you name it, I've done it. And while I was supporting my boxing, years and years ago, I set up a gym. So you've trained at the gym, obviously, you know.
Yeah.
It's a popular gym, and I built up from the start.
It's a really good gym. It's a really good gym. Boxing gym as well, yeah.
Yeah, so had the gym and started investing in property at the same time. As I was investing in property as well, I was building my portfolio. I needed workers. I ended up building my own building company where we do commercial and residential stuff. And obviously, as my boxing's come to an end, I started putting on white-collar boxing events. And while I've done this, I started putting out my social media, what I'm up to, what I'm doing. It's not just fighting, this is what I'm about. Everyone was like, wow, I thought you just did boxing. I was actually doing it for years, but I didn't really put it out because I was being sponsored by people. Boxing was my main focus, so I didn't want anyone to think I was distracted. I've got ADHD, you can probably tell by the amount of businesses I've got, so I need to be doing multiple things. I can't just do one thing, it will kill me. So business is natural to me because I can just do multiple things. And as I started putting things out, people were asking me for a bit of help, especially in property, and that's where I set up my now mentoring company. So I'm mentoring people, and I don't want to be a property guru. I want to be someone who has started from the bottom and built up a big portfolio, multiple businesses, keeps healthy, keeps fit, and really can help people invest in property from, like, you know, 0 to the first 10 properties. And as I started that, it's developed, and now I'm creating an app. Amazing.
So let's take it back. So you were a professional boxer, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, did you what were you doing apart from professional? Just that? Was that your thing?
I was amateur boxer obviously before, and I was working in call centres.
Okay.
After school, I was a joiner, sorry, and in construction you can't work part-time. So I needed a part-time job, so I started working at a call centre. So I was working at a call centre 9 till 1 o'clock, getting 2 buses to training, 2 buses home, and then I decided to turn professional. And I was fortunate, I got a few sponsorships that kept me by.
How old were you there this time?
20.
Okay.
19, and then I had a bit of time turning pro. Turned pro about 20.
Yeah.
And then alongside that, I always wanted to do multiple things because my brain can't just stop.
Yeah.
That was maybe bad for boxing because rest is very important with training, as you know. But I struggle resting, so I couldn't just stay at home. My mind would start racing. I would probably start thinking about boxing, thinking about my opponents. It's actually negative for me. So I started just getting involved in business, property, and that's how it all started tumbling.
So you were like early 20s really. So what was your first business, like proper business? Was it a gym or was it a construction company or?
My first proper business was a barbershop.
Okay.
So,
hey, it's good cash flow, right?
yeah, well, I thought so. I basically was getting my hair cut, seen an opportunity of a barber wanted a place.
Yeah.
My natural mind was thinking ahead, thinking I could rent the shop. He works there. I shortly realised that was my apprenticeship in business.
Yeah.
Learn never set up a business that you can't do yourself, or you'd be prepared to do yourself. Barbering, don't have a clue, couldn't do it, and also it's not a massive passion or ever something I thought I'd do. All these little things made me then put into something that I do want to do, which was the gym.
So started off at barbering but you got a taste of business, right?
Yeah.
And then you thought gym is the one what I want to do. And then what happened? Open the gym. How did you fund everything? How did you get started? Did you have a bit of savings or did you just ask for help or?
Yeah, unfortunately no savings. And I started under a barbershop in Sale.
Okay.
Funny enough, barbershop. And I was PTing people from the barbershop. So the barber, Jed King, who helped me out a lot, he was passing his clients. Oh, there's a guy downstairs doing boxing.
Yeah.
So I started building up my one-to-ones boxing. Then I started doing more PTing. Started coaching a bit more, and then I then decided to go drive around Sale and find a place that I can rent. Somewhere a bit that doesn't smell like the sewers that this barbershop smelled like underneath. So I found the gym actually that you've been to.
Yep.
That was someone else's gym. So I was renting a space in there.
Okay.
So I was paying £350 a month to just have a little corner of there.
Okay.
It was a busy CrossFit gym and I was renting a space, and then I wanted to expand, so I ended up moving from there to getting my own gym. I ended up taking on staff at that gym and outgrew it within a year. And then I get a phone call off the landlord who knew me from the original gym saying, the guys are moving, do you want it? And I was like, I'm going to. At that stage, I was no way near earning enough to cover the rent. And I just thought, this is an opportunity. I started planning, I started thinking how I can build up the money, how can I do it? And then I took the jump.
Yeah.
And that was something what I've learned from massively, because I thought I'll start and build up. But then as you build up, you start creating a bad name. Not a bad name, but if you've got dodgy equipment or if you've got something that you don't really want or you don't really like, if you bring people to that, they remember you for that.
Yeah.
So ideally, I needed a bit of help, bit of guidance, and so anytime I earned money, I was putting it into property and putting it into my business. I didn't see money for a while, and I was just moving around, and I was living in a little apartment, and I was just investing. At the time, it just felt like, it was never going to end.
Were you single at this point in a relationship?
Yeah, single.
Okay.
Fully single, just concentrating on business.
You said something really important there. You said that you just knew you had to take that jump.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people don't even take that jump, do they?
No, and it's fair.
Blockages in their mind.
It's fair. I think the main thing is fear. People won't take the jump just simply because of fear, and it did scare me. And that's the thing. People think that fear is almost bad, but fear is good. If you're not scared or you're not anxious, you won't do the things that you're supposed to.
Yeah.
If you're anxious that you might not be able to afford the rent of the gym, you're naturally going to work harder. You're going to do more stuff. You're going to put in them extra hours. You're going to be better with that client that you've got. And sometimes fear and putting things out there and pushing the boundaries all the time can make you, and it can even make you or break you, I suppose. And that's why it's so important being healthy, being fit, and living the life. Because if you're down or you're not feeling yourself in fitness and health, and you're a bit down in other ways, it just has a negative impact on business.
Yeah, and maybe because you was a fighter, you knew you were used to pressure.
Yeah.
And you thought, you know what, I'm going for this, I don't care.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do, right?
Yeah, and I think boxing was probably the making of me. And this is what I always say. Boxing made me, but didn't necessarily make it in boxing. And there was at a stage where that was a lot of my ego was in the way, because when you start off, you want to be a world champion, you want to be all this. But I realised I did make it. I did make it in boxing. I started with nothing. I started as someone who left school with no GCSEs, and with everything that boxing taught me, I'm where I am now.
Yeah. So fast forward then, was this before COVID then, right? This was way before COVID, innit? What year was this then?
2019, 2020.
Okay, so how was COVID for you?
At the time,
obviously, it shut everything down, right?
Yeah, it was hard. It was very hard.
Did the landlords be okay? Were they okay in terms of rent and stuff like that? Or?
No, not at all. And to be fair, he's a good guy, but I get his position, and he's got to make money too. He was so it was very, very difficult. I had a contracting business that mainly focused on commercial offices. So we'd go and refurb offices. No office wanted a refurb. Everyone was working at home. No, everyone thought they might not ever be back in the office. No one knew what they were doing. So if you look back now, it probably would be a good time to do a refurb on the office, because no one's in there.
Yeah.
But the landlords were like, I'm not spending any money. We might be working from home. And a lot of the offices that we did do ended up going bust, or they ended up working from home. So we had to really sit down, me and my business partner Sam, we had to really think what route we're going and how we're going to build it. The gym, everything stopped. We have school contracts as well in the gym, and that all stopped
because everything
as well.
Shut in it. Yeah,
everything stopped. So my sponsorship stopped from boxing. Everyone was like, "Look, Sam, I've got to protect my business. I can't pay sponsorship." Fair enough. The money from the gym stopped. The money from my Somnium business stopped. The only thing that kept me going was my properties. So the rental from the property, that was getting me by. And I was in a position where it was either what do we do now, and I had to make something of myself, and I had to really do it. And that was the turning point in my portfolio even more, because I stepped up the gas in property. Obviously, when we were all at home and you couldn't do anything, I was planning, and as soon as we were allowed to do stuff and move around, I was investing in property, and I was doing a lot of PRs. I was buying stuff, refurbing them, adding huge value, and refinancing, pulling the money going again. And that was what drove me. And I think if I didn't have lockdown, one, I might still be boxing, and two, I wouldn't have probably built up the portfolio like I've got now, which then has led to me having a mentoring company and an events company.
Because it's hand in hand, right? Because you've done it and you can teach it.
And that's another thing as well. When you see, I look back now and you look and I think, wow, I have got a few businesses. Oh, I have got a few quid. Or I have got what I've got. But
it's made you the person you are today.
Yeah, but I've only started realising that now. But if someone would look at me now, they probably felt like I've been feeling like this for years.
Yeah.
But the growth and your journey doesn't feel like that. It never feels like the way. If you see someone who's got a really successful business, you imagine what it's like to be that person. But it never goes that way. It never feels that way until you reflect. And I've started reflecting a lot more now, because if you're not reflecting, you don't look. You sometimes you can't. You're clouded. You don't know how far you've come.
Yep, 100%. And your gym, is it open 7 days a week, or is it?
Yeah, we're a bit of a different gym. As you know, we're a strength conditioning gym with boxing, so we have classes on Monday to Saturday, and Sundays, to be fair, we just do personal training. And then we've got, when fighters are fighting, they train at night time at the gym, and we have PTs through the day, and then we go to the schools when the hours are quiet in the day as well.
So you mentioned property there, because it seems like you're really, really passionate about properties. When's the first time you bought a house, or when did you start thinking, you know what, property, I'm definitely going down that route?
When I was 17, 18, I moved out. Yeah, probably 17. Moved out, I was renting. Moved in with my mate. I was just paying him some money week by week, getting by. Ended up moving out, and I started realising anyone who's successful, anyone who's got money, invest in property. So I just dived in and I bought the cheapest place I could in the area I wanted to live.
Yeah.
Which that was the catalyst into my learning journey of what not to do. I bought an apartment, a basement apartment. It was in sale, so it wasn't too bad. It wasn't the worst deal, but I was that frustrated. I was about 21. I bought it, 21. Yeah.
What price?
Maybe 22. 96k.
Okay.
It's now probably worth 150, 160. So, but that 8 years ago, it's only gone up 60k. That's terrible. And I was stuck in this mortgage, and I didn't do any research on anything. I was just a bull in a china shop, and that was really what frustrated me, because I thought, is my money just stay? I was poorer. I had a property, but I was poorer. I thought property makes you richer.
Asset rich, cash poor at that time, yeah?
I was poor, so I started realising, understanding how can I get rich doing this, because property was my model, what was always going to support my boxing. Everyone tells you, have a backup plan, my mum and dad, everyone around you. And it's a good thing, but it also makes you think, why do you not think I'm going to do it? And you end up doubting yourself, but I end up, really, really focusing on property because I knew that was going to help my boxing.
Yeah.
It didn't end up that way. It did help my boxing, but I ended up really concentrating on property. And then as I started getting to swing of things and how I can make more money, learning about leveraging money, learning different property strategies, I really started stepping up the gas and making property the thing that I'm probably known for now.
Yeah. So what was from there you learned a lot from that first property, and then how did you buy your second property and then move on to buy more? What was that transition like? Did you go and learn something, or was it just yourself? You just thought, I made these mistakes. How did that go? So
bought the apartment, signed into a 2-year fixed deal.
Yeah.
In that 2 years, researched, did every bit of networking I could, spoke to a lot of mentors above me, a lot of people who have helped me out massively, a lot of business leaders, a lot of people who just by talking to me have helped me massively. And I realised what the next step was going to be, and it was always to refinance that property.
Yeah.
Refinance the property. I had turned that flat to a buy-to-let. I bought another one that I was living in, so I could free up my 10%. So it kept 25% in that property. I had 10% available because I wasn't earning a lot of time, and I bought another place for 90k. So I only needed 9 grand. So I refinanced, put a little bit of money, bought another one, did the same again. There was a few bad things with this because now they're in a personal name. They're in my personal name, so I don't get the tax benefits of being in the business. But by the time I got to my third one, that's when I started realising about the companies, started realising how to leverage money, and started really growing. So I always say I went from having a 90k property, 96k property, then another 90k property, and then I went and did a BRR on my third property, and I went from basically 180k in properties in 4 years.
Yeah.
And then the next 4 years went to 3 million.
So did you have a construction company at this point, or
so
was that
during doing one of my houses up, my business partner now, best mate, he needed workers for his current job. So he was like, who are you using? So I started passing on my contacts. And my whole life, I've been known for boxing. I'm popular in my area. I've always done stuff, and I've always helped people out with my network. So I started passing on people. And then he was like, have you got a plumber? Yeah, of course I have. Have you got a joiner? Yeah, of course I have. And then we started meeting. Then he needed it again. And we started going, we could make a business out of this. If I set up a business doing this, I'll just make me using my mind again, thinking, you need people. I know them. I'll start doing that. So it was a thing of, I know the people, you pay me, I pay them, I keep a little bit. We made it up in Starbucks, Trafford Centre, and grew it massively, and now just took on an 8-figure deal, first 8-figure deal, just super excited. Buzzing, because it was in Starbucks. We were planning on making 200 quid a month, and now we've just done an 8-figure deal, which is amazing, yeah.
And that's going to continue growing, innit? Once you do it once, it'll other big corporate company will look at you and just give you deals left, right, and centre. It's just one door.
That's what happens, isn't it? Law of attraction as well. When you know you can achieve that, you end up attracting more stuff because you know that you can.
100%.
So it's just going through the levels and going through the doors.
Fast forward, as you're doing your BRRs, you went up to 3. Then how did you start thinking about, I need to start teaching people all this?
As my boxing started coming towards a drift,
I
never thought for the first 2 years. So I've been out boxing 3 years now. So it was only the last year that I realised I'm not going to box. And it was because for the first 2 years, 1, I was going through the health stuff, and 2, I was concentrating on my finances. I wasn't focusing on boxing. I was focusing on I need to get myself right. And as I started doing that, I started documenting more stuff on my Instagram, social media about property. I was always doing property. I've always been a businessman, but my focus was boxing. People are paying me money in boxing. My trainer, managers on my Instagram, I don't want to put too much out that's not boxing. That is my brand. I don't want to distract people. That I'm doing boxing. Concentrate, buy tickets to my fight. don't worry about anything else. So then after lockdown, I started posting all property stuff. Everyone's like, oh, you're doing property now?
Yeah.
I've been doing property for 8-9 years.
Yeah,
I've been doing business for 8-9 years. I just don't promote it because boxing is the focus. So as I start documenting it, people start popping up. Oh, can you help me in this? Let me know when you're free for a phone call, whatever.
Yeah.
Then someone approached me and said, look, see, you know what you're doing, I know whatever. I'll pay you to just mentor me and tell me how to do, because I know you started from nothing. I know you've not been given any money, and I know you've grafted how to do this. So I started helping that person. And then a few more people over time asked, and then one day I remember I was thinking, do you know what? I've just got a feeling, like I've got a feeling that I need to coach.
Yeah.
I've stopped coaching from the gym, but I enjoy it. I've just been coaching now at the gym.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it. He's my mate, one of my clients who started. He was my first ever client in the barbershop cellar, and I still train him to this day. And I don't do it for money. I do it because I genuinely enjoy coaching, passing on stuff. And then when this opportunity come up, this opportunity went past me, and this is what I always say: I could have just ignored that opportunity. That opportunity was someone messaging me, asking me something. That is the opportunity. People think an opportunity is something like big signs like, do this and it will make you loads of money. Do it right now. This is your opportunity. Doesn't work like that.
Yep.
I seen the little thing as my opportunity, and I decided now's the time to set up another business. Started doing a program, filled my first course. You spoke on one of the calls.
Yep.
Did a second course, filled it. Did a third course, filled it. And I decided, do you know what, I'm going to start putting this on a bit of a monthly, so we can start learning together. Keep the cost down for these guys, because I felt like if I'm taking loads of money off people, I'm kind of going against what I'm telling them to do. I'm saying invest in property, invest in yourself, yeah, but I don't agree with paying 25 grand, 20 grand to courses unless you've got the money.
Yep.
You're a business owner and you've got money that's value to you. That's great. I would recommend doing that.
Yeah.
I might end up having a mentor one day that I pay big money to who can level me up. But if you're at a level where the first money you've got, you need to invest, I don't want to take all your money off you. So I've decided to set up an app. And it's grown from one conversation to 2 conversations to now me having an app.
Was it like an app that you can download on Android and Apple?
App Store, yeah.
Sick.
So a full app.
Yeah.
What's going to have like a resources section where you can type in anything you like. So solicitors, bridging loans, finance, plumber, anything you need in property, you type in. Even like contracts, tenancy agreements, business partner agreements, joint ventures, everything.
It'll be like a community.
You type it, but everything you type, it will give you the number and their email address. So for that network, my network's your network. There's going to be a blog page, so there's going to be people blogging about different stuff. We're going to have businesses blogging on there, so you can just click on, you can read an article from a bridging company. I've just done a commercial deal with a property finance company. Can't announce it just yet, but I've done a 2-year deal with them where they're going to fully back me with the app, and they're going to be doing blogs on the page and helping people with property finance, bridging.
Nice.
And there's going to be videos. Well, I'm going to be posting. This video will be on there. I'll post this podcast to there. There'll be business talks, which is just going to help people level up.
Just help people level up, really.
Just a place where you can go to just learn on your dinner and your lunch.
So where can people go and get this app from? Just what's it called?
So it's Hyde Property Mentoring.
Hyde Property Mentoring.
Hyde Property Mentoring, yeah. So I'm only giving it to people who are on my current network.
Got it, okay.
Until March. Until September. So in March it launches. Next year. So in March it launches, and the current people who I'm dealing with now, and whoever signs up until January, will be on the app in March.
Okay.
They're going to test pilot the app. We're going to there might be a few things that we need to change. Functionalities might not be there, and we do the full live public release in September.
Next year?
Yeah.
Okay. Hyde Mentor. So at the minute it's for you anyway, right?
Yeah.
What's the cost? Have you figured that out yet, or you'll just figure it out closer to this?
What, for the app?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not to build the app.
Oh, right.
The let's just say to
client.
join, as a client to
So it's gonna be between £80 to £150 a month. So
that's reasonable.
Yeah.
That's like a normal average person can afford that.
Yeah. And it's the mentoring side because you get the Zooms with me on a Wednesday still.
Okay.
So you get this full mentoring that you're getting, and this app is an add-on.
I think that's cheap.
Yeah, it is cheap, but doing it for value. I'm building it to give people value. I'm giving it. I'll actually use it. I've been designing this app like, what would I need? The amount of times that you need a tenancy agreement. When you've got 10 properties, there's going to be a time where you get new tenants all the time. I need a tenancy agreement.
Yeah.
I've got to ring my mate who's got estate agents. He's got. This app's going to have it all. So it's actually going to be handy for me, let alone other people.
Yeah.
But it's all about value because I don't need to make money from it. I don't need to monetize from it yet. It's a long-term plan. I'm investing into this because, and the value that I'm going to be giving people is really going to show my personal brand.
I can imagine, yeah.
So even if it makes me no money, which I know it's going to, I'm good at making money, but even if it didn't, the value that will bring will elevate my personal brand anyway.
Definitely. So see this app, you don't need to give me exact figures, but what's it cost to kind of put this together for the people?
I've probably invested about 30 grand up to now into this app, and I'm not planning on making 30 grand back for a long time. And when
that's really generous of you. That if you spend like 30 up to 30 grand, and you're going to be giving it out for 100 quid and 150 quid, whatever it is, the information they'll be getting more than their money's worth, right?
As you know, this studio now with your podcast, the staff that you've got, it's expensive.
Of course it is.
So all the content that I'm getting, everything that's gonna, and I've got to keep adding to that. So I've budgeted about 10 grand a year.
Yeah.
Costs that I'm going to be putting for the app. So 10-year running cost a year. And it's not going to start monetizing for about 3 years. I'm probably going to be in between 60 and 100k before it ever starts paying.
Did you think of a different strategy to go down that route, like for webinars and stuff like that, with that sort of thing?
So I started looking at the market, what other people offer with property mentoring, and I started looking at the people I'm mentoring and what they actually need. And a lot of people sign up to these courses and it's not what they need. It's just what they think they need. And I've started realising, well, who's to decide what they need, who's to put this big course together. So they've got the opportunity of how much they want to learn. So rather than jumping into a big program where you've got to learn every strategy, you've got to do it for months, you've got to take all your time, it's intense. This gives people the freedom to learn in their own time. If they don't want to jump on a call on Wednesday, they don't have to. But if you've paid 20 grand or you've paid 10 grand or even 2 grand, you're going to jump on every Wednesday on the call. But with this app, it's giving people the flexibility, the freedom is what I'm preaching with property. Do it in your own time. Don't rush into it, but start learning, keep in habits with it. Jump on the app once a week. So one thing I am going to be doing is sending out messages on the app like, you've not been on for a while, make sure you watch a video. Accountability. And I started realising what's the best thing to do that, and it was the app. So it's a web app and a mobile app. So you're going to be able to do it on a laptop and a mobile app.
Yeah, which is good.
So it's going to be amazing. But my logic of, if people are at work and I don't have the time, by the time I get home, blah, 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 blah. Just put it on in your dinner. Get in your van, go and have lunch, put your headphones in and listen to 20 minutes of someone talking about a bridging loan. You start realising what a bridging loan is. I'll take you to the water, but I'm not going to force you to drink it.
Exactly.
You've got to start thinking, right, a bridging loan, oh, well, I could do this. And then you go, oh, what kind of property could I do it with? That is how it builds. It's not an overnight success. It's not a make you a millionaire app. It's a start learning, which is going to help you progress. This is how I've done it. I've gone from 0 to 100 pretty quick. If you want to get involved, here it is. And that's my attitude with it. Definitely. And it's how I am as a person. So it's got to represent me.
Currently, you said you've done a few Zooms and, you've got a few clients in there, already your mentees and stuff like that. What are you finding the struggles in them that you see where you feel like these guys need more than just that help, to get to?
No, it's a great question, Zabir. Great question, because that's one of the reasons why I did start the app, and it was because I started thinking, when I first did my program, I was looking at this person, I was looking at everything that they need to do based on the current situation. So we'd go for a meeting for about 2 hours, going through everything, going through money, finance, going through everything that's going to help them, right? And the position they're in now, how much money they earn now, how much money they've got now. And I started realising by the time I got to 5 weeks down the line, every person's circumstances changed. People were losing their job. People changed jobs. People made more money. People made less money. People got bloody pregnant. People were having a baby. People were moving with work. And I started realizing, how can I build something where people's circumstances change? For I can't be accountable for people moving. And I've started realizing people let their changes in their life distract them.
Yeah.
They let anything happen. I'm working away. So what?
Any excuse, right?
My missus is pregnant. So what? You know, I've got to work late at work. So what? Like, but when I was teaching them and there was set Zooms on and there was set days that we've got to meet and they couldn't do it, I started going, well, no one wins. I'm not winning because you're not building a portfolio. You're not investing and making loads of money, which is going to make me look good for my business. You're not winning because you're paying money and you're not getting anything out of it. So that's why I started thinking about value. And I started realizing that my app and this app is going to offer value. And if they don't have the time or choose not to, they're paying every month. That is on them. I'm going to do everything in my power to give them accountability and make sure they're on it and give them reasons to. And I'm going to improve the network. We're going to meet up. We're going to have meetings where we meet up, going out for drinks,
like
going out for food,
stuff.
events, yeah. But more of an event where we're networking, we're talking.
Yeah.
I'm going to split the rooms off in Zooms as well, breakout rooms, where people can talk to a joiner. They can talk to someone else, joint venture potentials and everything. So all about value.
So how do you set your goals in property? Like, do you do it yearly, or do you think 5 years, or do you then change them, or what's your overall like goal for the next 5-10 years?
So
'cause you're already in a good position, right?
Yeah, so I always plan 5 years ahead. So
Okay,
when I'm
5 years,
investing, I always think about 5 years. And the reason why I started that is because I realised it's either 2 years or 5 years,
Yeah.
fixed term. So I start realising, right, if I'm investing in something right now, I've got to think where I want to be in 5 years. So if I invest this money now, will this help me in 5 years' time?
Yeah.
Sometimes it won't. And that's exactly why I do it. So I set out where I want to be in 5 years. So even now, every profit that I'm investing in, anything that I'm doing, I'll look at where I want to be in 5 years.
Long term, yeah.
2027, I'll think 2027. I'm now here. I want to be. How old will I be? So in 5 years' time, I'm going to be 33, 34. Right. I'm going to want to live in a £1.5 million house. I want a Lambo, blah, blah, blah.
Whatever,
Work out what I want. So then I think, right, well, how are these things achievable? And genuinely do this. So I ring my accountant. I go, how do I get a mortgage on a 1.5 million house? Because when you're buying a house, as you know, it's usually based on, when you're residential house, times 4.5 your salary.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I'd have to earn about 250k. I'd have to declare 250k. I can't afford that. So I start putting things into place, what I need to do.
Yeah.
And then that helps me with the property. So when I start working out what I need to do, how much money I need to earn in order to get to that goal, I start working out with that property. And I understand that that property is not going to achieve everything, but you start looking at everything else you got. So go, right, I've got this property that's going to earn me this, that's that amount. I've got this business, that's going to earn me that amount. What do I need my money in this property to do? And I start working out what I need it to do in a certain figure. And it might even just be the rental yield, because all these other businesses are going to be putting the capital in. So forth, start working out. I end up getting on a piece of paper and everything's like, no one would understand it other than me. It looks like like a kid's been drawing like this. And then I realised, right, this money can get me to there, and then I'd go for it. I genuinely do that. As I started doing that, I thought it was just me being weird. I started realising it actually works. It's actually exactly what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And a point where I did in 2020, I refinanced all of my properties.
Okay.
Because I had a feeling that when the properties were starting increasing, I refinanced everything and fixed them into a 5 years. So I knew that everything's solid for 5 years. I didn't know we were going to have the big inflation of interest and stuff.
Just recently that's happened.
Recently, yeah. But I was safe for 5 years because I needed to keep myself safe for 5 years in my plan.
Yeah.
So it's so important to plan.
So technically, you're still safe for another 2 years, right?
Yeah.
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 What is your thoughts on the current situation, like in terms of everything, the current property market? Like, what's your thoughts?
So I think in lockdown, everything went up massively, and it was a bit of a false sense of how much things went up. Properties were going for money that they don't deserve to go for. And that helped people refinance. So, for example,
I remember people just buying them and selling them.
Literally, you'd get fed up going on Rightmove because you'd ring them up. Oh, we've got 10 viewings on this now, and it was just annoying, you know. But it caused a ripple effect that people were then go bidding a little bit more, and it's like everything. If people didn't know that there's loads of interest, it wouldn't have happened. So, and then just like it's bad, it's like speaking to my mate the other day, and he said if the news or people didn't tell you that there's a petrol shortage, there'd never be a petrol shortage.
Yeah.
When there was a petrol shortage, everyone's filling up the cars, everyone's filling up barrels at home,
Panic,
filling up trucks, everything, because they're panicking.
Toilet rolls with COVID.
So then now there's a shortage.
So
it's the fear again, what we were talking about. But to your question, what do I think? I think that because it went massively up, I think it's starting to come back to reality. What's the property's probably
true price,
the true price, and then because of that. And the banks that they give money out in furlough, the bounce backs, everything, they needed to put things up. And I truthfully think things are going to start coming back down, to be honest. I think a good source of mine believes as well that things are going to start coming back down.
I spoke to somebody last week and they were saying that they're starting to see certain products back on the market. And obviously over the next year or so, I do feel like it will.
I think it's just unrealistic. People can't get the house they want. It doesn't help anyone. Don't help businesses, because if you're a estate agent, if you can't sell the properties, you're not making money. You know, if you're in any solicitors, everyone's going to struggle. So council tax, if you're not buying the property, you're not paying council tax in that area. You're not building. You're not. So they want us to start move. So I think it's going to start coming back down.
How do you find your properties when you are looking for your investment or for your mentees or
finding them?
How do you find them? Do you go on Rightmove, or do you go on? Have you got agents that you speak to, or relationships, or what? How do you work yourself?
So mixture of going on Rightmove, knocking on doors. I bought my second house by knocking on someone's door saying, "Look, I'll buy your property." He was like, "Oh, I'll let you know." Said, "Say my number, I'll definitely buy it." He added me on Facebook. He actually then messaged me, "You still interested in buying a house?" I was like, "Oh God, yeah. I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be there now." Bought his house, and then my network, really putting out there. What people now know. That's why I always preach to people about putting out what you do, letting people know what you do. Because if you don't, they'll never know. That's the world we live in. Back in the day, what did they do without social media? Like, I only know what you're doing from social media. I don't know what you do. How did people know what other people do? How did businesses? But that's probably because they went out networking more. They definitely went dancing on a Saturday. They went doing stuff to network and speak. That's why conversations were probably better then. Because I know everything you do. You know, or majority. So a lot of people just live their lives off seeing what people do on Instagram. So things have changed.
What other investments are you involved in? Like, are you into crypto and NFTs and all? Do you know much about them?
No. To
Staying
be honest,
away,
I'm too busy with everything else. But
okay.
I dabbled in Bitcoin, but if I can't give something 100% and smash it and know everything about it, I can't do it. I just can't. And I decided to just skip that. I had a bit of FOMO, invested a bit of money. And then I pulled it back out and was like, I'm being stupid. Stupid. Stop listening to what everyone else is doing.
I done a bit on in XRP about a year and a half ago. And my mate said to me, "Look, I promise you, they're going to win the court case and it's going to shoot up." Fucking came down.
Did it?
So now I'm just sat there. I put 26 in. I think it's down to like 9 or something.
Oh.
So just
have you got anything else?
I can't even get it out now. I have to just wait. But no more cryptos for me. In a day of you, what is your routine? Like your day-to-day routine? Like what time do you get up? Like roughly, like during the week.
Well, not roughly. Like strictly, I get up at 6 every day.
Strictly, yeah.
Strictly,
I like
6
how you
every
said
day.
That, strictly.
Yeah, strictly. It's just I can't not. My mind's mad.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. Yeah, or earlier, 5:30 or 6 a.m.
Wow. Okay.
6 a.m. minimum. I get to I get up, sort the dogs out, walk the dogs, feed the dogs, get to the gym half an hour early, get on the treadmill until my session starts at 7:30. Got a PT now. Accountability, even though I've got a gym, even though I can train myself, I'm a PT myself.
Coaches need coaches.
Coaches need coaches, I practice what I preach. I'm getting people to coach me to coach them. I give them, so every day, PT at 7:30. Wednesdays, actually, train myself. All the other days, PT. Come into the office, get the team sorted, get the team started, motivate them, sort problems, solutions. There's usually a problem in the morning, solve it straight away. If we can't solve it, work out a way to, and then that's it, start cracking on. And my structure is all, and we've had this conversation, which I need to get better at, is a lot of it's in my head. So my structure is like really like high level structure, but it's in my head. So it's not an Excel, it's not on anything. So I've got a PA now, I've got a full-time marketing girl, and I'm hiring one more person to help my head put it down to paper.
Yeah.
So I can do what I'm good at. But I go from business to business, check on sites, checking properties, viewing properties, meetings with directors, meeting with people involved in business, checking with the office, helping the team. Then at night time, usually do a second session.
Because you've got a business as well, gym business
Yeah,
as well, right?
so I'm there every day anyway.
Yeah.
It's next door to my office. And then come home, sort out anything I need to sort out, sort the dogs out, eat, sleep, repeat, literally. And then my weekends as well are just like...
Is this Monday to
the
Friday or
same.
is this Monday to Sunday? You do it?
Yeah, and then Monday to Friday, but then Saturdays, it's business in the morning,
Yep.
meetings in the morning, then I have Sunday afternoon and night just fully off.
Yep.
Fully resting with my missus or my mates
Yep.
or whatever I'm doing. Sunday, business, strictly business on a Sunday. Me and my business partner, Liam, strictly business on a Sunday. We meet at the gym, we train while talking about business, what deals we've got on at the minute, what we're thinking about investing. And he'll tell me about something he's investing in. I'll say, make sure you speak to this solicitor, make sure that contract's tight, because I went through this and now this, and just stuff like this. And we just talk about the stuff we wouldn't talk about in a week because we're too focused on our work.
Yeah.
So we're just talking about what we're getting involved in. So I'm investing into another company. It's not fully announced yet, or revealed, but I'm investing into another company.
Property related,
potentially
or?
two. No, nothing to do with property. It's just a business that I feel like I could add a lot of value on.
Yeah.
And it's something that I always thought would do. And then one would just literally be for a financial reason. It's a good money maker.
Yeah.
They need a bit of cash injection, and then build my base, build my team, and my plan for next year is to try and settle my travelling a bit more, start working from home a bit more, start getting a bit more better habits of quality of work, and rather than being like, all over. I know that's me, it's my personality, but sometimes you can waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
Something like I sometimes can be a busy fool, because my head needs to do stuff, so I need to start passing off roles and letting people take over, really.
Yeah.
Not because I'm getting lazy, it's because I want to focus on what I'm good at.
Yeah.
That's investing and growing things.
Have you found any struggles with staff, in your offices and stuff like that?
Yeah, well...
Because at the end of the day, they're just normal people, right? Who have
Yeah.
just got into that. So and you're an entrepreneur, so you're like a Ferrari in there.
Yeah.
While they're probably in a Toyota Camry or something, right?
Yeah, well, funny you should say, because staff has been like a learning journey for me, because I'm just like a nice guy, and whoever I deal with, I want the best for him.
Yeah.
It's natural. So I'm never going to let that go.
Yeah.
But whoever I've got, I want to see them go. I genuinely do. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm going to promise dangle the carrot. I'm wanting to grow them. So I start feeling like the way to grow them is what would work for me.
For you, yeah. But you're a fighter, right?
Yeah.
Remember?
But yeah, so I'm different completely.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to realise that they don't want what I want.
Yep.
They're not built like I'm built. So I start realising, like, what are they? So I asked it today actually to my staff. So I asked every person in the office, if I could buy you anything, at the end of the year, right, next year, we have an amazing year, we make loads of money, we do everything we said we're going to do. If I could buy you anything, what would it be? One of them said, I don't know. Probably. They didn't know. So I started realising they're indecisive. They don't know. They didn't know what they want. So one of them was like, oh yeah, probably probably a house.
A house?
Yeah. So
you to buy them a house?
or something like that. And some of them, and then my PA said something from a horse.
Okay.
And then don't even ask. My missus in the office. Like, I'm not even asking you because I know what you'll say. So I asked questions like this just to work out what they want.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm going to buy them out. Not that I'm going to buy them out.
But you're checking where
just seeing what they're up to. Yeah, seeing what they want, because rather than me thinking what they want. So I started taking people to London. I love going to London, partying in London, seeing the wealth in London, talking to people of high net worth. Motivates me.
Let it inspire you.
Inspires me.
Yeah.
Seeing the cars that you don't see around here, even in Cheshire. Seeing that, it motivates me. don't mean it's going to motivate someone who's working for me.
Yeah.
I tried it, and if anything, it had a negative effect because it made them feel worse.
Mm.
So I started realising it's all about them. So, funny enough, next year I've decided next year is about me developing them and training them, because at the end of the day,
So you're like a mentor, not just an employer, innit? It's like
well, I feel like they're the ones who are going to eventually, they're the ones that are going to make me the big money. Because if I've got to be reliable to do all the work, you're not going to make that much money.
Yeah,
if I'm reliable, there's nothing, unless you're a footballer, but even that, you know, the money that I'm, you know, it's a short career, you've got to have business with multiple staff. So staff's a huge thing. So I'm starting putting a lot of time into the training of it, the well-beings of them, you know, and how can I get this team just amazing. So putting in a lot of time into that next year massively.
Yeah, man, I respect that, because I think that's what they need. Because a lot of people are just come from different backgrounds, different upbringings. You don't know how their mum and dad, they brought them up. So everyone needs different kind of looking after.
Moulding.
Yeah, definitely. You said you mentioned relationship. So you with your partner, right?
Yeah.
How many years you been?
3 years now.
3 years. Married, or you just?
No, not married, but
no kids at the minute, right?
No, not kids for a while. She's very business related anyway.
Yeah.
And the important thing with relationships, friends, business, everything, start as you're gonna finish. A lot of people they'll be whining and dining them.
Yeah.
You see them, they go Thailand or they go Dubai.
Yeah.
They buy them all these presents. They spend loads of time with them.
Bags.
And then these people start going, right, I'm going to concentrate on business now. So then the partner goes, whoa, what's going on? Like, I thought you were going to, you know, that you've changed.
Yeah.
So I started how I was now. So everything's the same. The minute that I don't spend much time with her, she knows that. So nothing's ever changed though. She gets what I'm like. She got ADHD.
Yeah.
Now she can make me a better person. She can be like, look, you need to chill out a bit. But because I've always done it, it's not a problem. But even with that same girl, if I would have spent more time with her and not focused on business, and then eventually gone, right, I'm going to do this, girls don't like it. Or guys probably won't like it because it's change.
Yeah.
So I set this stall out.
So she gets you.
She gets me, yeah. And it's because I've been like that from the start. So and I know a lot of people change as you go on, and people might want different things, and that's where I think sometimes. But I'm just black and white. This is what it's like. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going, and people can support you in that.
Yeah. So that's a great tip you give there. What you said is that don't start whining and dining them straight away. Especially if you're gonna. No, it's true. It's real talk.
Yeah.
Right? Just
not
be
excessively.
Real. Yeah. Just be real.
Just be yourself.
Because you. Where did you meet her? Where did you? Was it in business? Because you said she was in business. So
No, met her in a cafe randomly. Met in a cafe in Bolton. I was seeing a job, and then after then I bumped into her. And she was next to me in the traffic lights. Now, this girl's from Surrey. She was down in Manchester, just moved to Manchester, and then she followed me on Instagram. Blah blah blah. A mate messaged me saying you need to take her out. But do you know what? Just had this dead hard boxing fight. That ended up being my last fight. And I was going through a bit of a mad time, and then timing was great. But that was the time of business so from the start, I've been how I am now.
So what are the 3 tips that if you was to give someone, say, look, if you're going to get with someone, what should you look for to make it a successful relationship?
Consistency with yourself. So don't change too much stuff.
Yeah.
Dramatically, because they don't like that. 2, always make sure you keep a life outside of your relationship, whether it be mates and stuff. Sometimes your mates spend too much time to keep other things going. And then the 3rd, probably just make sure you're concentrating on what you really want. Sometimes you can get distracted. Like if you ask me, do I want to go to Dubai right now and chill on the beach with my partner? Of course I do. But why don't I? Because like the bigger picture. So always think about the bigger picture.
So businesses, you mentioned businesses. Do you think that is a really good way to grow wealth, apart from property, having businesses, multiple different businesses?
I think it's the important bit about it is understanding what business you have.
Right.
So, a small business, large business, medium business. So, what I mean by that is, if you've got a business that's realistically a small business, is always going to be a small business because 1, you don't have the cash injection to build it to be a big one. 2, you don't have the staff, or it's not the kind of business that you can grow. Like if you've got a cafe and you don't really you know, it's pretty basic cafe. It's a small business. Don't try and make it a big one and spend all your money on marketing, all your money on trying to make it big, because that money is wasted. You're spending that money in the middle zone. It's wasted, in my opinion. What I've realised, and I've realised it from faults on my own, when you've got a small business, that business can still make you a lot of money. When you've got a big business, that'll make you a lot of money, but you've got to understand which business is which and what you're going to do with that business. So in terms of wealth, I've got businesses where they'll stay relatively small. There will be natural growth and natural progression with it as the money accumulates in the bank, and then you can do smart stuff in the business with it to make more money, but it's still a small business. Then I've got a business where I think this is going to, like, you know, on top of the world.
Yeah.
So I'm, even when it's making money, I'm almost like, how can I take less money? How can we pump more money into the business? How can we profit more in order to achieve what we're wanting to achieve? Because we see the bigger picture, we see how big it can be. And then the middle ground companies where they cost you loads of money and staff because they need loads of staff, but not a lot's coming in. They're the business that you've got to come up with ways to direct. So I've set up now, I've got a group that will own all of my companies. But in that
like
group,
a group structure, yeah?
like a group structure. So I'll have staff within the group that will help each company. So that means that their middle ground companies and that struggle, taking it to the next level, will have a cheaper option for marketing, cheaper option for admin, cheaper option for development, cheaper option for everything. The guidance. So it's like one group which will help each company, and then each company will pay a fee back to the group. So this way as well, it's not for the group to make money, it's for each company to have the best chance at making money.
Well, how do you deal with your emotions on a day-to-day basis as a business owner? Because I presume it's all up and down, right?
Yeah, so I'm a bit of a weird case, me. I don't, maybe from boxing from a young age, suffered a lot of trauma in my boxing journey, injuries. A lot of stuff's happened in my boxing journey where I look back now and think, wow, that's probably why.
Yeah.
Stress is where I don't mentally stress. So because my mind doesn't mentally stress, it takes it out of my body. So my heart, you know, I started swelling. So I was on a complete deficit. I was not eating. People are like, whoa, you know, you've put on weight, whatever. And I was thinking, it's pissing me off because I'm not. And then you feel like you're justifying yourself. And, you know, you're going through this battle. I'm like, what's going on with me? So I went, right, I need to go vegan for a month in a deficit, just on shakes, just to see if I am actually putting on weight.
Yeah.
Did it for a month and I put on weight. I thought, what is going on?
Yeah.
Went to the doctors, they were saying, oh, it's IBS, it's all this. If I didn't push, I wouldn't have found out that I've got a problem with my heart.
Who did you go to see then to find out?
My GPs. So I went to my GPs, that wasn't good enough. Went paid for specialist, that wasn't good enough. He didn't even touch me, just looked at me. And because of my age, he diagnosed me. He diagnosed it would just be IBS. It would be, you're getting water retention, you're swelling, your face. It's because of, anyway, turns out it was down to stress. So did
you do checks to find that out?
Yeah, so I had an echocardiogram, so it tests the walls in your heart to see how things work. So in a nutshell, when you're drinking loads of water, your water goes to your kidneys and your kidneys flush it out.
Yeah.
But because my heart, one side's not pumping efficiently, it doesn't pump the water out efficiently. So I started holding water in my ankles and my legs, and no one could. And I basically pushed, made sure I got an answer, and I found out it was my heart basically. So the stress comes out in my body without knowing about it. So mentally I can't switch off, and sometimes I know I get a headache, and then I know to chill. But I deal with things quite.
So
quite
does that affect your training as well, or with your heart thing, or?
It did, yeah. It did. I've had to stop like boxing like hard every day, so I'm doing a lot more weight training. I've been on still in a deficit, but building a lot. We're trying to retain and muscle definition, improve my chest, arms, and just working on something because I've still got to be working on that. And then just like walking, bits of cardio, bits of boxing. But But yeah, completely changed.
I might put you in touch with someone in Liverpool. I know he works with, Tyson Fury, and he's a high performance specialist. They work with nutrition, and they worked with Conor McGregor before as well.
Oh wow.
And what they'll do is they'll test things out, and they'll kind of give you a plan and say, look, have this. It might be good for you.
Yeah, no.
I'll find that number and give it to you. Might be good to do that. Yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you was, see if someone's in a 9-to-5 job. If they want to get into business, how do they make that shift in your opinion?
Well, first of all,
say that most of the people are not happy in their 9 to 5,
no.
right?
I think the main thing is confidence. So don't leave your job if you're not confident in what you're going to do. So how do you get confidence if you've not done it? So I put a thing on Instagram the other day, and I thought, like, confidence is the key to everything. But how do you get confidence that you've not done something? It's basically education and seeing other people's development and understanding how things work. So if you're in a 9-to-5 and you're thinking, how do I make that move?
Yeah.
Start educating yourself of how you make the move, what you do when you make the move. And some people, one of my old mates was an overthinker, and he would never do anything because he was very clever. He'd think about it for too long, and it just stopped his progression.
Yeah.
You've got to be confident that you know that someone else can do that, you can. But don't just jump into it like, what do I do? I'm not confident. Get the confidence from learning outside. Dedicate your time, invest more time into people, network, and just grow that whole mindset and confidence.
And then you'll start building confidence up, right?
Yeah, and you'll build the confidence to then take it to the next level. And then whatever you apply it to, if you're confident, it's going to work.
Yeah,
You're confident, you'll make money, you will make money. If you're not confident, you won't.
Yeah, yeah. Have you got a why yet? What is your why? Or
I think
does it
so.
change? Does it change like as you achieve the goals? Like you got your first house, you got your second,
Yeah.
you got to 3 million. Did it change every step, or?
Yeah, well, I think the main.
Why do you do what you do? Why do you get up 6 a.m?
Yeah, and sometimes I do ask myself, why do I do it? And I think
Are you just a madman?
it's a bit of both, yeah. But the main thing is basically achieving the most out of myself. And I do believe that boxing was one of them things that I always remember telling a story where when I was in a gym years ago, I was the only kid, and my old coach, Mr. Dunn, he's like an old school coach, called him Mr. Dunn. At the time, I was like getting into trouble. I was a naughty kid, and I was boxing like all the time, but I just didn't think I was going to go anywhere. There was nothing. There was no like confidence. There was no confidence in myself. And then one day I come in, and the other owner of the gym was in, a guy called Jim, and he said, right, we need a meeting. I was like, oh no, I've been caught doing what I'm doing. What's going to go? He said, right, we've not seen someone as talented as you since Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton was at the same gym as me. He was like, would you seriously think you're going to be able to make it to the Olympics and turn pro? So we need you to start believing in yourself, and you need to start like acting like you're going to... That day changed my life, and I remember that day. It was years ago, where my mindset was like, wow, like if that didn't have a chat, I don't know what I'd be doing. So I started realizing that, like, wow, well, what can I achieve with like my mindset? So it's a test to me how much I can achieve, how much I can do. So I always think of like people who are super, super rich, like what makes them super rich and super successful. I want to test myself. I want to go through the boundaries of life. I want to see what I'm made for and what I'm capable of.
Definitely.
And it's exciting, that's what motivates me, just seeing how much I can achieve, and just pushing myself, just what gets me ticking.
Yeah. Any holidays planned next year, or?
Well, talking to Dubai, I'm going to Dubai, a few business stuff, potentially hoping to invest out there, but again, I'm practicing what I'm preaching. Done a lot of education about investing abroad, investing in different countries, and the pros and cons to it, and I'm working out now how to exactly do it. How they don't leverage money like we do in the UK. It's very much you can get mortgages, but it's very much
Is it bigger deposits or something?
Bigger deposits, yeah, especially if you're a UK citizen. But there's pros and cons to it, but it's mainly the long-term value of where I think Dubai's going to go, and these other countries. So a lot of people believe it's going to have like the Mayfair and London effect, where in London, my missus' family member actually had an apartment, or has an apartment in Knightsbridge, and they paid, I can't repeat what she paid for it, but it was pennies. Wasn't a lot of money at all. Now it's in the millions, and that was because it carried on going up and up and up. And they say with London, the market never dipped. It just went up. City centre London. A lot of property experts and people involved believe that Dubai is going to be like the London. It's going to be like premium. It's going to be.
A lot of people have gone there as well, haven't
a
they?
lot
Tax free.
Yeah, they're going and they're transferring over. But imagine in 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, imagine it's only getting more popular. So then property prices, if it does like a London and you invest now, because you can pick stuff up for cheaper.
And I think they've got a lot of stuff up there on payment plans and stuff like that, where if you've got a good business and you've got good cash flow coming in, you can pretty much put a deposit down, get involved, right?
Yeah, you can, but bigger deposits, and they do take dips, the market in Dubai, and because there's so much sand, there's so much land, there's loads of developments going on. So for years, you're not going to be able to pull your money back out because you're not going to be able to sell it.
Yeah.
They struggle selling it, I believe, unless it's a premium one. People would just buy a new build because there's so many. There's so many developments, so it is a long-term plan. But I'm going out there to research, see the area. I've never been.
Meet people.
I've got about 4 meetings set up already, so yeah, that's exciting. But other than that, yeah, you know, it's just business.
I think COVID elevated Dubai as well to another point. So, you know,
it did. It did. Yeah,
everyone started paying attention to Dubai.
A lot more people work from home since lockdown. So they can work from home in Dubai.
Yeah. What's your plans in terms of, are you planning on living in UK, or are you planning when you hit a certain number, I'm gone?
No, I think I will always live in the UK.
Really?
I think I'll have holiday homes.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think I will.
I'm just saying it from tax benefits, from the weather point of view.
Yeah.
I don't like waking up in the morning and just opening.
Do you think you will?
Yeah, I'll be gone.
Dubai?
I don't know about if it's going to be Dubai.
Where do you think?
Because everyone says Dubai. Monaco.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice, big shout.
Yeah. Tax-free zone as well. That's what I'm thinking.
No, Monaco's a good shout. Yeah, if it is.
We'll go.
Yeah, no, mate, love it. Well,
and it's only not far, is it? It's like, what, 2-hour flight or something? I don't know.
And you never know, but I wouldn't want to miss out on like my mum and dad, you know, they're getting on.
Yeah.
And I like my animals, and I know you can have animals in other countries, but, you know, I just feel like right now I can't imagine myself fully living. I'm very much like a UK, like, even when I've moved a bit more out into Cheshire, and now I don't see some of the places that I used to see day to day. And when I go past it, I'm like, wow, it feels a bit weird. But some people like that. Some people go, I want to leave this area, but I'm almost like, you know, like there's a sandwich shop in Sale that I still want to go to. Like, I'm like, go to one near you now. You know, it's mad. So I'm very much a creature of habit, I suppose. But you never know, do you?
You just never know. You never know, right? It's just because for me, like, I've always thought that it's 3 things we want, right? Financial freedom. You want the time freedom, and you want a bit of location freedom, right?
Yeah.
Where you can be anywhere in the world and just make money.
That's the goal.
That's what's, you know, I'm thinking, maybe. But we'll finish off on 2 questions. Do you have a purpose in life?
The purpose is just to be the best me. So the purpose, is the why. To be fair, the purpose is just to be the best me, and I believe I am.
Are you religious by any chance?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Well, I'm Christian.
Okay.
So I've been brought up. Not my family aren't too religious, but I'm Christian.
So you've got a faith when something happens.
And it's something that's progressed over the years. I think I had it when I was younger. Or went to church when I was younger, and then I lost it a bit, and then I started, you know, understanding a bit more, and I do believe that I am quite faithful and religious, and I do believe that that's not my calling in the future, but I do believe some form of coaching is what I'm meant to be doing.
I think everyone should do it.
Yeah.
I think every single person should serve.
Yeah.
Even if you, as long as you're 2 steps ahead of someone, that's all you need to be.
Yeah.
Just serve. But a lot of people just won't, will they?
No. There's time, they think it's not beneficial, but I've seen, and this is what a lot of people, when some people thank me when I coach them, but I'm like, don't thank me, I'm getting more out of it than you. I love it. I like doing it.
Exactly. When you teach, you learn twice.
Yeah.
That's it. So, listen, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything you want to share?
No, thank you for having me. Appreciate you guys, and studio, having me on. Appreciate it.
Well, listen, thank you for coming on. If you are interested in everything that Sam's talking about, we will put everything in the description below, and I'll see you on the next episode.